Welcome back to LSI. I'm Mark Meyer, Director of Indoor Industrial Products, and today I'm going to be talking to you about the next generation of Advantage Series strip. This is the existing Advantage Series strip, or AST, that we've had for a few years and has been a mainstay in our industrial offering. Well, now we're going to be introducing the second generation of that here on my right. So, we're going to get into the differences between the two. You can notice right off the bat that the dimensions are very different, but more than that, the functionality and the performance is the biggest key takeaway. So let's dive right in and talk about Advantage Series Strip Generation 2. And here we have the Advantage Series Strip Next Generation. So with this generation, we've added a 2-foot unit to the 4-foot and 8-foot that we already had, as well as now we have a straight or square lens to go along with the curved lens that we previously had as well. So it's slimmer, more features, and we'll dig into those features right now. So let's go deeper into the performance and features of the AST. So to demonstrate that, I have two 2-foot units as well as a 4-foot unit that we'll be getting into in just a moment. But first things first, let's talk about the functionality of the full selectability. So come on a little bit closer and we'll dig into this. So we're going to open up the unit by depressing down on these buttons right here and moving the lens out. So the first thing you'll notice is that there is a junction box cover plate inside the fixture, which is standard with every fixture. So we're going to set that aside for now. And then the second thing you'll notice is that there's 2 aircraft cables that are attached to the body of the fixture and the lens. This is to prevent the lens from falling off when you open up the fixture. So it'll drop down about 1.5 to 2 inches and just hang. Then here we have the driver with 2 switches, one for wattage, which corresponds to lumens, and then one for CCT. By default, it's going to be set at 4000 K and the highest wattage. The choices for CCT are 3000, 3500, 4000, and 5000. And the wattages will go in approximately 10-watt increments depending on the size of the fixture that you're talking about. If you have a 2-foot, 4-foot, 8-foot, they will have different ranges. So, like I said before, by default it's set at the highest wattage and 4000 K. So I am going to set this to the lowest on both. So if you wanted to choose something other than the defaults, you would utilize the LXX, CXX option in the options column on the spec sheet. And what that is, it identifies to us when you want to change the lumens from the default. A 2-foot unit at 1400 lumens and 3000 K would be set at L14C30. And that lets us know to factory set it, open up the unit, set it to those settings, and then we apply this plate, which is our selector lock plate. And then so the switches have been moved. And you can't see it, but there's little teeth on the bottom of the selector plate which lock into a groove on the side of the driver and keep this plate from coming off. So it's locked, can't be adjusted in the field. So the other thing to go through in terms of options that we would do factory installation on are the sensors. So this is our microwave sensor, our IMWS. It's a simple, easy to hide behind the lens sensor, and what it does is it gets put in right here. You can see there's the sensor and here are the antennas, and so I will put that right in alignment with the holes that you see there. And then there would be 2 long thin screws which would screw in through each of these sides here to affix it to the back of the lens. Then if you want to change any of the settings, you can see on the back of the sensor is the legend for what controls what, and there's dip switches that can be moved up and down to adjust those settings. And this can be done in the field once it's in place as well. So that's our integral microwave sensor. We also have a PIR sensor, which is both factory installed as well as an accessory. And let me explain that a little bit more. We have this, which is the QCR35 Quick Control Receptacle. If you're familiar with our Advantage high bay product, it's a standard feature on all high bays, but it's not standard on the AST strip, mainly because we have the option for continuous row wiring. So if you want the PIR sensor to be installed after the fact as an accessory, which is this unit right here, the QCMS35, you have to select the QCR first. And it gets installed right here in one of the knockouts on the edge of the fixture. So in this case, I already have one that has it pre-installed. And you can see I'm going to open this up. And here you can see the auxiliary output on the driver is feeding the sensor, and that's where, or feeding the receptacle, which will then power the sensor when it's actually put in place. You can either put the sensor directly into the receptacle, or you can utilize this elbow accessory, which allows you to aim where the sensor goes. And you can see we have a fully articulated 360-degree motion sensor that can be moved where it needs to go. So those are our sensor options that do require some factory installation. Now let's talk about emergencies. So I will move these to the side. And here we have our 4-foot unit, and this 4-foot unit actually has an emergency already installed in it. So if you look on the far right, we actually have our emergency test switch. So I'm going to open this up so you can see what the emergency looks like when it's installed. This is not something that you'll do in the field. This is something that we will do in the factory, but you can see we have our emergency driver right here. We have our battery backup as a separate unit right there, and then the cable that connects the emergency driver to the battery backup as well as the test switch. So in this case, I'm going to close it back up, and just like before, we're going to make sure that we don't pinch any wires. We heard our click. And then I'm going to plug this unit in. All right, give it a second and it'll come on. Oh, helps if you turn on the power strip. And there we go. So our unit is now on. It is an emergency enabled unit. So when I hit this test switch, it's now gone into emergency mode, which is going to be, in this case, 4 watts of power that's feeding the unit. The other way that you can test this, so I've turned it off again, so now it's back in full-blown mode, but I'm going to disconnect it from power. And you can see it immediately went into emergency mode at 4 watts. And it will stay this way for the next 90 minutes unless I disconnect the battery from the emergency driver. And that's how the EMs and the new ASTs work. So now that we've talked about the factory installed options for the AST, let's talk about some of the accessories that are available to you. First one I want to go over is this beauty plate. So come on a little bit closer, let's take a look at this. So the beauty plate is available for the 2-foot, 4-foot, and 8-foot, and what it does is it covers a 4-inch wide space in the ceiling where a previous fixture may have discolored or caused something to not look quite right. So where it goes on the back of the fixture, you'll notice that the holes will line up, rivets to rivets, screw holes where you actually affix the plate to the back of the fixture, and then it allows for your junction box hole right there to be open. So you can see from the front, it looks like this. So that's the beauty plate. Another accessory that's available is the wire guard. So wire guard, 2-foot, 4-foot, 8-foot, and what you do is you line up the wire guard on the fixture itself. Now you'll notice that there are no screw holes for the wire guard to be screwed into the fixture. So the wire guard accessory comes with self-drilling screw holes, so you want to make sure that you line it up correctly on the fixture itself, and then you take and you drive in those self-drilling screws into the fixture. I have a 4-foot version over here where I've already done this, and you can see I had a couple of holes where I didn't quite have the wire guard lined up correctly, so I had to do it a second time. So be better than me and get it right the first time when you line up your wire guard with the fixture. All right, so that's those two accessories. Then we have our hanging accessories. So this is our toggle, our TCH3, 3-foot toggle. And what happens is on the back of the fixture, you'll notice these ovals right here. And what you do is you feed in, if you're going to suspend it using this accessory, you would feed that in and slide it all the way through. Now I'm not going to go all the way in because it's very difficult to get back out once it is in, but it allows you to adjust left-right adjustability as well as up and down. We also have our MCH10, which is a 10-foot hanging kit with a mini hook. And that also feeds into this oval right here, and then the hook portion of it will lock into place on this hole on the far right. So that is those accessories. Now I'd like to show you the continuous row accessories and how those are installed. So for that, I'm going to move some things out of the way, and I'm going to pull in two 2-foot square units. And I already have the continuous row wiring kit, the CRCK3, installed on this unit right here. And then I'm going to be connecting it to this unit right here. So you can see power would be coming into the fixture in the junction hole right here, and it would connect up to these Wagos, which I already have pre-positioned. So these are 3-pin Wagos, and it would feed in white to white, black to black, and ground to ground. And then it connects up to, there's 2 connectors here, one for power, which has your white, black, and green, and one for dimming, which has your purple and gray. I'm sorry, your purple and pink. So those are already in place, and I'm going to feed those through the fixture that we're going to be aligning to and passing through. So those align, and then I feed up to the Wagos I already had pre-positioned and connect them up. And the same with the black, white, and the ground. So now you have continuous row all the way through. Now I'm going to close these back up. Be careful not to pinch any wires. Now that's only half the solution because we still have to connect up the fixtures, and that's what we use the continuous row alignment bracket long, the CRAL, to affix to this fixture. So in this case, I'm going to take this bracket because we're going to be suspending it. This has screws that drive it into the fixture. There is a short version of this for surface mount applications that does not have the screw holes, that would just stand over these rivets like this, and because it's surface mount, it locks it in place and keeps it from rotating out. However, in this case, we are going to use the one with the screw holes, and I'm going to be taking these 8 screws and putting them in place. And there you go. Now you have the continuous row alignment plate in place, and the fixtures will stay aligned whether they be suspended or surface mounted. So with that in place, now you have this functionality, which is the PIR sensor and elbow. So you could put this in, and it will control for the entire fixture going all the way down. So that is the continuous row feature, and as I said, the kits are different for 2-foot, 4-foot, and 8-foot, different lengths. This happens to be the 8-foot kit right here. and you can see it is 2 sets of cables, 2 for dimming and 2 for power that have male and female connectors that run between 2 fixtures. So 1 kit is for 2 fixtures, and you would purchase those for as many as you need to get. To get an idea of how long you can run, on the spec sheet there is a table that references the maximum run length according to the voltage and the wattage of the units that you've chosen. So make sure to reference that when you're connecting up continuous row wiring in whatever application you are. And that's it. Those are the accessories. We've gone through the options and the features of the AST, and so now you have gotten a full idea of what the AST can do for you. So we just demonstrated how to install continuous row wiring and the continuous row alignment plate on 2 2-foot units. Now I have 2 4-foot units hung up here where I've already installed them to demonstrate the functionality and how they perform. So as we went over before, the CRCK3 continuous row wiring is inside the fixture for both power and dimming, and the CRAL continuous row alignment plate is right here to keep the fixtures level and in line with each other. Then we have the aircraft cable hanging kits, the MCH10s, as well as over here the QCEA quick control elbow and quick control motion sensor to pass all the way through from the fixture from the left all the way to the fixture on the right. So we'll go ahead and turn it on. And you can see the power feed coming into the fixture on the left is passing all the way through to the fixture on the right. Now to demonstrate the dimming capability, I'll come over here and I will put my hand over the sensor. The fixture turns off, and then I'll remove my hand from the sensor, motion is detected, and the fixtures all come on. And there you have it, the next generation of the Advantage Series strip. All marketing material has been updated on the website, but if you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out to me at mark.meyer@lsicorp.com. Thank you.